Hey everybody, how are you? This is Kardia from Mystcon, and as promised, I'm giving you part two of I am pretty sure my niece is trying to kill me. But before we do that, if you guys could go check out bizbin.com, always talk about this company. It's a great company. They do so many good things for the community, and they're an auction house marketplace. If you guys have items to sell, great place to go do that. Also, really good items to buy and some rare finds. So check it out. And let's go ahead and start with our part two of this creepy story. So, my niece tried to kill me for the third time last night. Obviously, I survived. I'm fine. A little unnerved, but basically, I'm okay. No hospital visits this time. I'm writing this from my office, but I don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to write this as fast as possible. I'm also creeped the hell out about everything I found out. Cassie dropped Audrey off around 3 p.m. yesterday afternoon. I'd just gotten home from shopping. I picked up those cameras you guys suggested, and they were in my driveway. Right away, I could tell if something was off. Cassie looked like she was in a hurry, but also looked a little scared. After I let Audrey inside and got settled, Cassie took me aside. Listen, thanks for taking care of Audrey, she said, a little out of breath. But I thought I should tell you that this morning when I was making breakfast, I got a phone call from him. Him? Audrey's father. For some reason, my heart sank. This was not good. I could tell right away from Cassie's voice that she had never expected to hear from him. What? Rosie, I promise you, I swear on Grandma's life, I thought he was dead. You know that fire that happened on the old lodge? I remembered. The old lodge was a wooden cabin and a fire hazard deep in the woods near the lake that burnt down 11 years ago. It was terrible because there was a party going on at the time and a lot of people died. He was there. At least, I thought he was, but he's still alive. Okay, but how did he know your phone number? I work with his wife. Alyssa is his wife. They got three beautiful kids, and he's a lawyer, and you'll never believe this. He's running for city council. City council? I was confused, and it showed. Look, you know how I was back then. We both made a bad decision. Anyway, Cassie said, looking over her shoulder to the house. Audrey answered the phone. My blood ran cold. Something about this didn't make sense. Well, none of it did. But I let Cassie continue. She talked to him for a little while and then came in and handed the phone to me, telling me Daddy was on the other line, she said quietly. I told her that her dad passed away. Rosie, you were there when I said it, and he and I agreed that I would raise her alone. He didn't want anything to do with her, and I chose to just have her. I'll be on my own, but he'd make sure everything was, good financially. He said he couldn't take raising a girl and that if it had been a boy, it would have been different. What the? Why would it have been different? I was still really confused at this point. I didn't understand how Audrey knew it was her dad or why he was calling for them. Now I need to know why it mattered that Audrey was a girl. Because, she said, exasperated. She composed herself, and for the first time she had been arrived, I noticed she was crying. Okay, look, remember all of the stuff that happened when we were kids? The old house? She nodded. The old house is known as Lincoln Falls Manor. It's an estate near the lake, very close to that old lodge. It's huge, 3 stories, a library, wraparound verandas, huge front and back lawn, and our very own playhouse that, when we were older, I would realize was just a guest house. It would have been a great place to grow up if it hadn't been haunted by several spirits. We lived there our entire lives and has been part of the family for generations. And the whole time we did, we were continuously attacked by entities that would bite and scratch us. We rarely got a full night's sleep, and the times we did, the morning after, we'd find ourselves trapped in different parts of the house. Once, it took my dad and 3 of his friends 2 hours to get Cassie out from the crawl space in the ceiling of the attack. Remember the priest? I did. That priest was a horrible old man, skeptical beyond belief, even though my parents and both sets of my grandparents told them that the house was haunted. He only performed a blessing on us when he was thrown across the library and hit the stained glass window. But the blessing didn't work. It made everything worse. We were teenagers by that time, and the night I woke up being dragged down the stairs by my ankles to the open basement door was when Cassie and I decided to go stay with our aunt, who had a house on the other side of town. Well, that priest was Eric's priest, she said, finally saying his name. And he went to see him when he found out I was pregnant, Rose. Her voice trailed off, and I could see her trying to make a choice between telling me or not telling me. Spit it out, Cass, I said, now really scared. Our town is known for weird things happening, and if she had trouble telling me whatever it was, I knew it had to be bad. Now I wish I hadn't told her to tell me. Rose, the priest told him that if the baby was a girl, she'd be marked at birth. The blood drained out of my face, and I felt sick. She'd be marked with several gifts and one curse. She'd be possessed from the moment she was born. I wanted to laugh and cry. In any other place, in any other family, in any other time, this wouldn't make sense. I know it. It doesn't make sense to you guys. But this is something our town has feared for a long time. The marked ones. I know, it sounds like an urban legend, but it's not. The story goes that the land that the town sits on was infested with unnatural beings centuries ago. The first people to settle in this place after the city we lived close to was built were thought to be in a league with these beings who had never left. And those families that settled down to the town would bear at least one child in each lineage that would be marked with psychic gifts, the ability to be possessed without consent. Those who were possessed would become the human manifestation of the entities with one job, to kill. Our family was one of those founding members of the town. Eric said that his family had found out that it was only possible for the girls to be affected, she said, now looking much, much older than her age. He and Alyssa had 3 boys, and she's pregnant again. He just found out it's another boy, but Rose, he's always thought that Audrey might be the one for our family. Cassie went on to tell me that the haunting at her house was bad, but it didn't get impossible to live there until Audrey started talking about the man in the attic. Because the man in the attic isn't from that house, he's from Lincoln Falls Manor. And I should also say, if Cassie's right in how she described him, he's the one that dragged me down those stairs 17 years ago. Cassie told me that she thinks that the man in the attic was Audrey's protector, her mentor, her guide. And the thing isn't a ghost or a spirit, it's one of those unnatural beings. That's why when I woke up screaming and he was dragging me down the stairs, I could literally see and feel him, because he was actually physically there. The reason Eric called me was that, and Cassie stepped close to me, her voice barely above a whisper. He's found Audrey in his house. He found her last night looking over Alyssa as she slept in bed. Rose, he doesn't know how she got into the house. It was 8 p.m. He was in the living room. There would have been no way for her to get into the house without walking right past him, and he was working. He said that he didn't have anything on, no music, no TV, nothing. By the time he realized that he was looking at her, she was gone. She jumped out of the frickin' window. I didn't know what to say. Cassie finished by reminding the rest of the legend. The marked one would choose their first victim on their own, with the stipulation being that it had to be a blood relative, could not be a parent. I don't know why that matters, but since Cassie and I are the only kids and our parents moved up north, I guess I was a natural choice. Here, take this, she said, handing me a pendant I haven't seen in years, one that held just a glass vial full of eggshells. To keep you safe. I'm not going to do this work thing. I'm going to go see Grandpa. He says he has information that can help us, but I have to go tonight. It's just one night. I'll be back in the morning. I couldn't say no. She was so scared. I gave her a really big hug, holding her tight, and told her to be careful. I would look after Audrey. Look after yourself, she said, looking me dead in the eye, and then she left. I walked back into the house, and the first thing I saw was Audrey taking apart the cameras. She told me that she wanted to see how they worked. I guess taking apart the first 3 wasn't enough. She had to take apart all 5. So that plan went down the drain real quick. The rest of the afternoon went by fine. She was actually a joy to be around. She wasn't acting weird or like she wanted to kill me at all. Then dinner time came and I suggested we order pizza. Cassie doesn't like fast food, so Audrey doesn't get to do delivery a lot. So she jumped at the idea. I chose it because at least she wouldn't be able to screw around with my food. After dinner, Audrey asked if she could watch some TV. They don't have cable set up in the house, so I said sure, and told her I'd be in the dining room, which is connected to the living room, because I wanted to call Harry. Harry was a little concerned about Audrey and I being alone in the house, even though he wasn't sure whether Audrey was the one that caused the hospital visit. I know I should have told him what Cassie told him, but to be honest, I thought it would be best that I wasn't around right now. If I told him, he'd come home straight away, and he still wouldn't have gotten here until this morning. The minute I hung up with Harry, another phone call came through from a number I didn't recognize. Despite my better judgment and the sick feeling in my stomach, I answered. Hi, Rose, this is Eric, the masculine voice on the phone end said as soon as I accepted the call. I looked over my shoulder to see Audrey still drawing at the coffee table in the living room. Oh, hi, Vera, I said, trying to play it off. I'm no actress, but I was hoping he picked up on what I was trying to do. No, nothing. I'm not working tonight. I'm watching my niece. Christ. She left her with you after everything I said? Eric said. His voice sounded angry and afraid. I didn't say anything, so he continued. Listen to me, Rose. I know you don't have any reason to believe me, and what I'm going to say is the truth. Oh, yeah? What's that? Cassie knows she's going to try to kill you, he said. I noticed he couldn't bring himself to say Audrey's name. She made a deal with her, Rose. Your life will spare hers. She's not coming to get her in the morning. You're on your own. That's not possible. Even I said those words, I knew it was true. No, you must be mistaken. I'm not, and you know I'm not, he said. The girl needs a sacrifice. Cassie's known since she was born this would happen. She figures since you two share the same DNA, Audrey killing you would be the same as her. I don't know what she told you, but the truth is, it has to be a direct family member. Parents count. I stopped breathing for a second. No, that's not how the story goes, at least not the version I heard in the past. Just listen, he said. When Cassie and when she conceived, I begged her to get an abortion. I knew it wasn't right. It didn't feel right. She wouldn't do it. I tried. She wasn't having it. That's when she cut me off. I told her something like this would happen. She knew already. He was quiet for a moment. Cassie thinks that if you die, she'll be able to share in whatever it is Audrey gets from it because she helped. There was no work thing. My wife would have gone with her. She's not going to get you help. She's going to wait because she thinks that you'll die tonight. I see. Well, is the patient all right? I said, noticing that Audrey was watching me. No? Well, up her dosage. Make sure they sleep through the night. Look, you have no reason to trust me, but I'm telling you the truth. The pendant isn't filled with eggshells. It's poison. Give Audrey some hot chocolate with the poison in it. It's not going to kill her, but it'll put her to sleep enough that whenever she's thinking about doing it, it won't happen. All right, you only have an hour before she makes a decision, so good luck. If you're still alive tomorrow, find me in the city square at 7. Don't worry, I'll find you and I'll talk about the pendant. That's how you'll know it's me. And with that, he hung up. It only took me 5 minutes to make a decision. If the pendant which I had in my pocket was just eggshells, as it had been when we were kids, it wouldn't hurt Audrey at all. I didn't have anything to lose. So I made her a hot chocolate, her favorite, as a treat, and I watched her drink all of it. Then I ushered her into the guest room for the night. Last night, around 4:30 in the morning, I woke up to the smell of gasoline. It hit my nose first, burning the inside of my nostrils, moving down to my mouth and throat. I woke up coughing, gagging on the smell, and then this taste of the liquid poured over my body. I was drenched in it. I looked to the left to see Audrey standing on the side of my bed. I had locks installed on the inside of my bedroom yesterday morning, but I could see from my bed that they were still in place. At this point, I knew she wasn't doing all of this. She had help. And there she was, holding a washtub full of gasoline, pouring it all over my bed, my sheets, and me. She seemed startled that I woke up, but then again she wasn't altogether there. It seems like Eric was telling me the truth, and the pendant did have sleeping agent in it or something. Aunt Rose, what are you doing up? She asked. She was very confused and muttered to herself, must not have been enough nightshade on the pizza. I didn't even think. I know I'm a terrible person, but she had a match in her hand. What was I supposed to do? Wait for her to light it? So I grabbed the lamp on the nightstand and hit her over the head with it. She didn't even make a sound, just hit the floor like a log. And then when I saw it, him, the man from the attic, he was standing behind Audrey, angry at the deception. He didn't say a word. He just pointed at me, his face frozen in a scream. I wish I could say this was a dream, but it wasn't. I know because I picked up Audrey, washed us both off, changed the sheets on my bed, put her back in the guest room, locked the door, and waited until sunrise before peeking in on her. 3 p.m. now. She's still asleep. Cassie still hasn't shown up, and what's worse is that her cell phone is turned off. She's not answering any of my calls. And so now I know. My twin sister set this up. She traded my life for hers. That little liar. I have a plan. I'm going to meet Eric in the city square. After that, I'm taking Audrey to my grandpa's house. I haven't told him we're coming in case he sided with Cassie, but something tells me he wouldn't anyway. Still, I can't take any chances. I don't know how much time I have left, but I'll try to update if I survive this. Audrey's still out of it, and I'm hoping that she'll stay that way until I figure out what to do. In the meantime, does anyone have any ideas on how to stop this? A curse? Has anyone had experience with making this type of thing stop? Can this end? And how do I deal with a homicidal twin sister? Does anyone have any ideas? I'm loading Audrey up in the car right now, and it's really early, but I have some friends who deal in witchcraft to meet, taking Audrey to see them if they know how to bind her possession. I'll update tomorrow, hopefully. And to everyone who's been kind enough to make suggestions, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, that was the scary part two. There is a part three. There's also a part four. So I'm going to be narrating to you guys this for a little bit. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoyed this story. You can actively participate in it right now. It's still happening. You can make suggestions and comments. It's at Reddit, No Sleep. The person who wrote the story, her name is Evelyn Bertrand, and it was posted 5 days ago now. Okay, so that's the end of my narration. I hope you guys join me again for part three, and I'll talk to you later. Please remember to like and subscribe, plus put that notification bell icon on so you get the next installment. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.